KARIERA.mk. Вистинската работа за тебе.
We are here with Nikos Foros. We've just finished the employer branding workshop. Thank you so much for taking part and being a speaker of this workshop.
Thank you for having me.
It was a pleasure having you, and I believe that the guests were also really happy with all the knowledge that you've shared with them.
I hope so.
How did you enjoy
It was the first time here in Skopje. I really enjoyed it. It was a very engaging crowd, and I think all of us learned a lot of things.
Since you're really delving into the field of employer branding, I wanted to ask you, the work field is rapidly changing. How do you expect the trends for employer branding strategies will move forward and evolve in, let's say, the next 5 years?
What we are seeing from global markets right now is that organizations are investing in employer branding and investing in initiatives different as usual. It's not like just participating at an event. It's more like building internal procedures and culture that truly speaks about the true identity of the brand, the employer brand of an organization. So what I believe is that most companies are going to create specific roles internally to manage the concept of employer branding, because employer branding is not a nice to have concept, is a strategy that will create more profit for organizations. So companies will start investing actually by creating roles and maybe departments internally in order to create the same strategies.
Do you believe that these departments will develop rapidly, or will we, let's say here in the Balkans, we will need more time for them to actually work?
It depends from country to country. Recently I had a discussion with a Croatia agency, which I realized they were far away from what we are having right now in Greece. So I believe it depends on the country, but probably in the next 5 years we will going to see much more engagement in the concept of employer branding from organizations, more roles, and it's something that it's happening. It's going to happen. It's happened all this time, like 10 and 15 years before in other parts of the world. In Europe, the last 10 years. So I strongly believe that in the Balkans as well is going to be a huge success in the next 5 years.
But drilling back to 2024, what do you think is the biggest struggle that companies are having when developing their employer branding strategies, or maybe an example that you've seen when discussing with companies?
In today's current market, we are seeing a lot of candidate mobility. Especially younger generations, they are not very patient enough in order to stick with an employer and see what the future will hold for them. So they're eager to learn more, they're eager to change, they're very easily changing employers. And right now I believe the biggest challenge for employers is talent scarcity, to find the right talent and stick to that talent, retain their employees, and at the same time make a more attractive image of their brand, which is challenging because sometimes there's not so much information out there for the employers, so they need to search for them or hire someone to help them in a consulting way to do that, which is the case what we are doing right now in Greece. We are working right now actually with an automobile company who we are building from scratch everything from the career side, the strategy, the hiring process, the onboarding process, everything in a consulting way in order to help them attract the right candidate, and they are in a process of investing in that in order to change drastically their mindset of how to approach employer branding, because 1 year before they were just thinking about having a competitor's analysis and see where they stand. Now they're actually implementing strategies towards this.
How do you think that companies that are willing to start from scratch versus ones that want to not change so much but just implement parts of employer branding are comparing?
Of course, the ones that already have something structured in place are ahead, but it depends on the amount of eagerness and engagement that each employer is going to put into investing in employer branding, because we have seen some examples, especially in Greece, where small employers, and I would say small employers, I mean companies of 100 and 150 people, have a huge, they are skyrocketing right now in terms of extroversion and participating in events and setting what the true authentic employer brand is, which attracts more candidates and attracts the right candidates, because they are setting true through valuable content, authentic content from their people. And I strongly believe that the ones who are actually doing something in a strategic way and investing time and resources on that will be able to step up the game, even if it's a small company trying to set up the basics and then challenge the big companies, or if it's a company who has something in place but they need to review it or challenge it. I believe it's about the eagerness to invest on that from the employers and the passion to create something authentic as an employer brand.
Of course. Thank you for sharing that. And another part that is also important and that you advocate for as well is empowering employer voices. How do you think that companies and employees alike should act when being faced with challenges where they cannot really express their voices and are not heard?
As I said, we are living a candidate-driven era, and there is a lot of candidate mobility. So potentially, employees who are not being satisfied enough from the current employers probably choose another path.
Yes.
The challenge here is that both employees and employers must reevaluate the current state and discuss together what they want to achieve. It's not a solution just leave an organization. It's a solution to find something that it's a problem right now and fix it, and maybe create something new. Might be a service, might be a process, might be something as an identity that wasn't there before, but through discussion and through common, let's say, eagerness to actually work on it, companies can keep their employees, and employees can create a more satisfied environment to stay with and work with. And I believe there is potential on that. There is the hard choice and the easy choice. The hard choice might create more learnings for each of them.
And to wrap this interview up, I would like to ask you, for companies, employers, big or small, that are willing to start creating an employer branding strategy, but maybe don't have the resources to maybe talk with an expert or to have an outsourcing company create a strategy for them, how should they enter the field to create a strategy?
Before investing internally, like hiring someone or create a department, I would say work with an agency or work with a consulting firm to understand where you are right now and what are your needs actually. You might end up actually that you need someone to guide you in a consulting way, you might need someone to build a small strategy with, or you need someone to start identifying internally, so hire someone or create a position for an employer brand professional. I would say there's no an easy way and there's no one way. I would say it's about understanding where you are right now, and this can happen whether their company can do it by themselves with their current resources or with a support or a help from an external partner.
Okay. Thank you so much once again for being part of this workshop, for sharing your expertise with our participants as well as with us right now. We hope to have you again with KARIERA.mk.
Thank you so much for inviting me. Thank you so much.
KARIERA.mk. Вистинската работа за тебе.